The night stretched out before them, the air cool with the breeze of a distant desert. King Shahryar, now accustomed to the way the tales unfolded, leaned forward, awaiting Scheherazada's next story. She took a breath, and with her usual grace, began.
O king, you have heard of the power of humility, and how the journey within can lead to the wisdom that eludes us in our pursuit of worldly things. Now, let me tell you the tale of the blind man and the traveler, a story of sight and insight, of perception beyond what the eye can see. In a village nestled at the foot of a mountain range, there lived a man named Said. He was born blind, and though his life was filled with challenges, he had learned to navigate the world through his other senses, his keen hearing, his sense of smell, and his deep connection to the earth beneath his feet. Despite his blindness, Said lived a life full of purpose. He worked as a storyteller, traveling from town to town, sharing the wisdom of the world through his voice and his songs. Said's blindness did not hinder him. In fact, he often said that his blindness had opened his eyes to the deeper truths of life, truths that others, who could see, often missed. The villagers respected him for his wisdom and insight, and they would often gather around him to hear his stories and learn from his experiences. One day, as Said sat by the village's well, he heard the footsteps of a traveler approaching. The man, a merchant from a distant city, was weary from his long journey and stopped to rest by the well. He greeted Said and asked for a drink of water. Said offered the man a cup and, as they sat together, they began to talk. The traveler, noticing Said's blindness, asked, "How is it that you live without sight? Do you not miss the beauty of the world? The colors, the shapes, the faces of the people around you? How can you find joy in life without seeing its wonders?" Said smiled softly and replied, "I may not see with my eyes, but I see with my heart. The beauty of the world is not only in what the eyes can behold, but in what the soul can perceive. The sound of laughter, the scent of flowers, the warmth of the sun on your skin, these are the things that bring true joy. Beauty is not just something we look at, it is something we feel, something we experience." The traveler, skeptical of Said's words, laughed. "But how can you know beauty if you cannot see it? How can you appreciate a sunset or a painting if you have never seen its colors or shapes? Surely, you are missing something great, something that those with sight can never ignore." Said's expression remained calm as he answered, "You are right to think that sight brings great pleasure, but it is not the only way to experience the world. There are many who see with their eyes, but are blind to the true beauty around them. They walk through life focused only on what is in front of them, never pausing to listen, to feel, or to truly understand what is beyond the surface." The traveler, growing more curious, asked, "But how can one find true beauty if not by seeing it? What do you mean by understanding what is beyond the surface?" Said explained, "There is more to the world than what can be seen with the eyes. Listen to the wind as it whispers through the trees. Feel the ground beneath your feet as it vibrates with life. Smell the rain before it arrives. The world speaks in many ways, and to truly understand it, one must open all their senses, not just their eyes." The traveler sat in silence, pondering Saeed's words. For the first time, he realized that there was more to the world than what his eyes had been showing him. He had traveled far and seen many wonders, but he had never truly experienced them. He had only glanced at them as one might glance at a painting in a gallery without ever truly looking at the strokes of the brush. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the ground, the traveler stood up and thanked Saeed for his wisdom. "I have traveled far to see the world," the traveler said, "but now I understand that perhaps the world is not to be seen with the eyes alone. Perhaps true sight is a matter of the heart and the spirit, not just the body." Saeed nodded and smiled. "You are beginning to understand. Now go and see the world not with your eyes, but with your heart. The beauty you seek is all around you, in ways you cannot yet imagine." The traveler, now moved by the depth of Saeed's insight, bid him farewell and continued on his journey. As he traveled through the lands, he began to see the world differently. He no longer rushed through his travels, but took the time to listen to the sounds of nature, to feel the earth beneath his feet, to breathe in the sense of the land. In his heart, he began to see the beauty that Saeed had spoken of. Years later, the traveler returned to the village where Saeed lived. He sought out the blind man, now an old sage, to thank him for the wisdom he had shared. When they met, the traveler said, "I have seen the world, Saeed, and I have learned that true sight is not found in the eyes, but in the soul. You were right, and I have found the beauty you spoke of hidden in the sound of the river, in the touch of the wind, in the laughter of children. Thank you for teaching me to see with my heart." Saeed, now a man of great age, smiled warmly and said, "I have only shown you what was already within you. The beauty of the world is a gift, and it is always there for those who are willing to open their hearts to it." And so the traveler returned to his journeys, no longer a man blind to the world's wonders, but a man who could see with more than his eyes. And Saeed, the blind man, continued to share his wisdom with all who would listen, teaching them that true sight is not found in the eyes, but in the way one chooses to see the world. And so ends the tale of the blind man and the traveler. May it remind us that beauty is not always what we can see, but what we choose to perceive with all our senses, and that true wisdom often lies beyond the surface.
When Scheherazade heard the rooster crow, she decided to stop telling stories. Shahryar smiled and realized that Scheherazade would not tell any more. Of course, he had a new date the next night to continue enjoying the stories of his beautiful wife, Scheherazade. King Shahryar sat, deep in thought. The tale had struck a chord within him. He turned to Scheherazade, grateful for the stories that, night after night, brought him closer to the truth of his own heart.